All right, you guys, welcome to today's episode of Edel. Today we're talking about unrequited love. And the person we're talking about is well known to us. We're talking about none other than Simon Cowell, the X Factor judge. My goodness. So he has been in a 40-year unrequited kind of relationship with a woman called Sinitta Malone. And she has been doing interviews the last couple of days, maybe months, and she's shared her side of the story, which I cannot wait for us to listen and to be able to discuss. In case you hear anything from my background, those are my pigeons cooing, and in case you see anything running across from my screen, those are my little buddies, my squirrels. Just let them do their thing. Now let's go to today's video. Let's watch what Sinitta has to say, and then we'll talk about it right after.
I think I was always obsessed with Simon there. I think it was just that kind of sweet spot, that sort of, that
Where
sort
did
of
you
deadly
first
more.
see him? Where did you
I
first
met him
see
in a nightclub that I shouldn't have been in at the
You too
time,
young.
the embassy. But he was like a mixture of Dudley Moore, Patrick Swayze. He had all the cheesy sort of lines. When you're young and they're saying the stuff that people
Charismatic.
say in the movies.
Yeah.
He actually said that.
All
and
of the Cowell
all the
brothers,
corny lines, and I was getting that, and it was like being in a movie. In the 80s and stuff, everybody was crazy, and it was nightclubs and partying and all of
Yes.
that. And so I just kind of thought, and actually even his mom said,
Just wait.
yeah,
and
it'll be fine. He adores you, kind of
yeah.
thing. I was always wanting that. There were a few incidents where I sort of realised he's really not on the same page, and then I'd sort of go off, but then we'd miss each other and we'd get back together again. And so his narrative was kind of as well, just be patient and you'll have everything you want. And it was like, I assumed everything I wanted meant, the normal
Then
sort of
the
family
marriage, the children,
life with him and
yeah,
things.
yeah.
And then he met the love of his life and had a child.
Was you dating him once?
On and off for 40 years.
Really?
Yes.
On and off for 40 years?
Yeah. He wasn't a faithful boyfriend. He won't mind me saying it because he knows. And I was very possessive, but he kind of likes to sort of, we can all just hang out and be, all be friends.
No way.
Because, women act crazy around Simon, especially in American Idol. I've been burnt on the shoulder with a cigarette when we were dancing in a club because some woman, gorgeous, modelly sort of thing, was trying to get to him. Like, I feel like Simon loves me and cares about me, but it's just, I think I romanticize everything. And then you see him with his partner and his baby. Well, he's a big boy now. And it's like, wow, okay. Like, everyone really does have their proper person.
Yeah.
I was the right person for a time, but they've just got this whole level of that we didn't have. I think I was just probably too needy. I genuinely believed that we were going to get married. I'm such a romantic that I think that was going to be our happily ever after, and then it wasn't.
Absolutely not. We've got to get serious. First of all, the FBI cannot get this information out of me, okay? Nobody on this planet or even any other planet can get this kind of information from me. Let's just get that clear. I don't understand the need to share this, but it's not my story, so I shall mind my business. I couldn't help but notice the look of the lady and the guy when she was narrating this. It's unbelievable. It really is. And I could feel them. I literally could feel the shock that they were going through when they're listening to her, and she's just there talking as though it is something normal. My goodness. This is one of the most insane stories that I have ever heard. And let me just say that I listen to a lot of stories. This is what I do with my time. I watch and I listen. I am always just out there listening to stories. I wanted to say it is one of the most insane stories that I've heard, But I thought about it and I thought, no. It is the most insane. I think it is because of the amount of time. It's not like I don't know stories about unrequited love, but this is about them 40 years. We're not talking about 40 months. That's what is just really in my mind. I cannot wrap anything, not my thoughts, not my nothing, not my hair, nothing. But now let's break this down. She says she's been in a 40-year relationship or situationship with this guy. I don't know if that's the same thing that he would say. I doubt it. I think he would just try and play nonchalant. And she's very clear to say she was obsessed with him, which is never a good thing. It is never a good thing to be obsessed with anyone. And he never actually told her definitely that I'm going to marry you and we're going to have a family. He just breadcrumbed her and, told her, we are going to, soon enough you're going to have what you want, just be patient. And it's just, I can understand if someone tells you that for 2 years and then, you get there 3 years, 5 years, max. Not me, but I can understand if somebody does that. But it's the 5 years max. But I find her situation even worse because the mom had something to add on and the mom is just telling her, oh, just be patient. I find that worse. But how is that what you want? This patience that it keeps going is a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. How is that what you want? To be patient for what exactly? I don't get it. I just can't believe this. But the thing is, I think he didn't want anyone else to have her. And that's why he kept just putting her there close enough, but also not as close as she wanted to be. Just the audacity of him having his other lovers. And she said he was not a faithful partner. And he was bringing the other lovers really around her. And he's like, oh, let's all just be friends. Hello, madam. No. But now let me tell you what she ended up doing. Sinatta got married. She got a husband and they got married for a couple of years. And according to one of the interviews that she did, let's read this piece together. She says, she describes her marriage this way. Sinatta described her marriage to her ex-husband, Andy Wilner, as a revenge move. Following her split from Simon Cowell, the marriage, which ended in 2010 after 8 years, was fundamentally strained because she was still emotionally attached to Cowell, leading to an eventual amicable separation. Just imagine being that husband. You've married someone that you love so much. And further in this interview, I remember there's a part she says that she married a good man. She just could not be with him because she wanted to be with Simon. Just imagine being on the receiving end, being that other man. You love this person and she's trying to perform love. She's trying to perform reciprocation. I'm still trying to process this information. This is bad. This is really, really, really bad. I'm just imagining how hard it must be for you to think that someone is your person, but you're not their person. That must be the worst kind of life to live. It's unimaginable. I don't even want to picture anything with myself close to it. Because you really know that you're never going to get it because time is showing you this, but you refuse to see what is right in front of you. Now, the woman that Sinatta is calling Simon's woman is a woman that is called Lauren. Simon had a best friend who was the husband to Lauren, and he had an affair with Lauren and got her pregnant. Okay? Understand me. He had an affair with his best friend's wife and got her pregnant. And that's the only time that he then had to start thinking about having someone in his life, like on a permanent basis. He was already denying this child until the child was proven to be his. That's when now things really got real. And I find it so wild that he was clear also to Lauren that I don't want anything serious. I'm not interested in being with anybody. So she is also not his woman. That's the reality. He is there because they got a child. And he said, I remember one time I saw him saying that he did not want his son, who is called Eric, to grow up without a father. So he had to make do this dynamic. He had to make it work for the sake of his son. I remember sometimes in X Factor, this woman used to go mad. Lauren used to go there backstage and cause chaos with the other judges, accusing them of having affairs with Simon. She was all over the place. But that's because she knows how she got the man. You can't have peace. How do you have peace when you've started off on such a horrible note? This person has made it clear that you're not ideally his person, but because you have a child, let's make this work. To me, this is absolute madness. I think Simon is a loser. I don't deny that many people adore him, but there is no way anyone should put themselves in a position to be with someone that does not want them. Don't do that. I feel like I've been so passionate because I refuse. No, I refuse. I refuse to allow any of this kind of examples to put them in my head and imagine myself in such situations. Absolutely not. Please don't do that. Let's love ourselves. It's not only women that get this kind of love, it's also men that experience this. But let's not do that. Let's love ourselves, really, to a point where we are able to know that if somebody doesn't want to be with us, it's not a personal thing. It's not because we are not good enough. It's just that they're not a match for us. And that's okay. Okay? Okay. I'm going to calm down now. That's it for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Share your thoughts with me in the comments. And please remember, you're not broken, you're not damaged, you're not unlovable, you're not too old, you're not too far gone, and it's definitely not too late. Just start where you are. You've got this. I'll see you on the next one.